everyone, this is Kim. Today I'm bringing you my long-awaited review and opinions and experiences of Illuminae, the Illuminae Files of One by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. I think there have been quite a few reviews on this already, so I'm not going to go into a ton of depth into it because I think some other people have already done that. But I will give you kind of a brief overview of what this book is about and my experiences and opinions about it. So the general gist of this book is that you are following quite a few different people, but the main ones that main perspectives that you are actually going to follow are Katie and Ezra. And these two young adults, they are, I believe, in their version of high school, probably juniors or seniors, around that age group. Their planet, they are being attacked. I believe it's by biotech. It is a corporation who wanted what they are illegally mining on this planet. And during the raid or the attack, they released a biotech weapon or a bioweapon on these colonists. And during the evacuation, some of these colonists were exposed to that, and it brought it aboard their ship, or these ships that these affected people were brought on. And so you are traveling and you are learning about the story and the survival of it. So it is sci-fi, it is survival, it is a little bit of horror, though it doesn't go a ton into that unless pretty much towards the very end of all of that, and you're trying to discover why. So a little bit of mystery or suspense thrown in as well with this book. So it kind of branches several different genres. If that is something that interests you, definitely check this book out. So again, you on this one, both Katie and Ezra are separated during the evacuation, and they end up on two different ships. So they are communicating via text messages, emails, and that type of format, and that is kind of how the book is set up a little bit, different type of formats, which I really did enjoy. I was kind of hesitant when I first got it, knowing that it was going to be set up in different formats than the normal expository narrative style writing, but it wasn't difficult to follow, which I did appreciate. It kept my attention throughout the book. And I did read it in about 2.5 days, so that's really good considering it's 599 pages. So that's how enthralling, how intriguing this book was to me, and wanting to know more, how is their story going to end, because Ezra and Katie, they had just broken up when the attack occurred, so you're rooting for them, you're wanting them to get back together, but right now they're separated. And with the bioweapon, it did infect some of the people, and they basically went a little nuts, kind of very violent reaction to the weapon. So it spreads really fast. I think it's an airborne viral type of thing. So they have to then quarantine people, otherwise it will spread onto spaceships. That's kind of risky to have them aboard. Again, it goes into things of survival, making the difficult choices that in normal circumstances you would not normally decide to do these things, but you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons. If we do isolate these people for the better good, or do we eject these people out into space, again for the better good, if they are proving to be contagious and already have the symptoms of the bioweapon. So a lot of hard decisions are having to be made. You also have the sci-fi element of not only being out in space on a different planet, but you also have an AI system, which is an artificial intelligence that runs one of the ships, and this artificial intelligence makes some really bad choices and does some really horrific things, but I'm not going to go into detail. Just know it does that because I want you to pick up the book and read it, and I don't want to give too much away. But it does do some questionable things and some heart-wrenching things that hits you in the heart, hits you in the feelings very, very hard. But I did. The only downside I think I have for this book is that at the end, or towards the very end, because you have this perception of the AI system, and then all of a sudden it's like almost like people talk about instant love and normal with human contact, just automatic instant love. It's almost like that with them, because you're used to the AI system being one way, and at the very end the author switches its personality in a very drastic way, and I'm not going to tell you what that was, but it was a little confusing, and it was, in a way, I don't know if it was necessary for that to happen, but it might have to be the way that the author ended the book, may have had to, but they might have done it in a way that it wasn't so jarring to see this radical change in the AI system. That's about the only con I have for it. Otherwise, I believe I gave it a 5-star rating, because I didn't really dock it for that, because I kind of understood why, but I wish there was a little bit more development that led to that decision that the author made, versus just, bam, we're changing you from this to this way of being. So other than that, again, I really did enjoy it. It is a YA sci-fi. Like I said, it kind of branches over different genres within it, but it was a great read. I did not want to put this book down at all. So that tells you something. Again, I started it very late on the Friday when I got the book. I read all day Saturday, read all day Sunday, and I think I finished it a little bit at work. When I had downtime with my kids, they were busy, so I was reading, model reading, reading teacher, model reading for them. I get a lot of kids were questioning me what this book was about, and I was explaining to it, so it really intrigued them to want to read it as well. So I'm really loving that aspect of reading some of these YA books that my kids are interested in reading them as well. Yeah, so my experiences, I had a really great time with the book. I had such a connection to it and draw to this book. I did go on and order the next 2, so look out for a future haul. I did end up breaking my budget to do that, unfortunately, but it's only 2 books and it's a series I do want to continue reading. And I have read quite a few books, and then I did do some unhauling of my TBR books I knew right off the bat I was not going to be reading anyway. Didn't have an interest to pick them up. So I didn't feel bad buying the next 2 books out of this trilogy, so yay. So that is my thoughts, my opinions, kind of a short synopsis of what this book is about. And like I said, I really enjoyed the different formats of the book. And when they did do creative writing like this example, it had a purpose to it. The formats are not just changed just randomly, they have a purpose. Some of them are star patterns, some are bomb bursts out in space, things like that. So when you're reading it, it has a purpose. It's not just, ooh, let's make the reader turn the book around and try to follow all these weird things. So I did enjoy that. It was very engaging. I could see it being very engaging to younger readers, at least middle school or high school age kids, because it's in text format. It is in emails and those different patterns of writing. Again, I can see these different patterns being very intriguing to the younger generation, because it is something that they definitely can relate to. Anyways, I hope you have enjoyed this review of Illuminae, of this book, Illuminae, and my thoughts and opinions about it. I don't, like I said, have really any major negatives to give it. It was an easy read. It was definitely engaging, and like I said, the only con I had was the abrupt change with the AI system. But other than that, a 5-star rating definitely for that book. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing if you have not already. And until my next video, I hope you have a good one. Bye!